to my pretend cooking show. I'm Leopard, and I'm known on Instagram as Almost Martha because all of my friends used to call me Martha Stewart for the last 30 years. So I took the name on Instagram, and I'm going to share with you a few of my favorite recipes. And we're going to start today with a peach pound cake. I made it last year. It was a brand new recipe for me. It was absolutely delicious. And I want to give attribution, where it's deserved. But honestly, I looked this recipe up this morning and it was on 6 different websites. So it's universal. It's a fantastic peach pound cake, but I'm going to do a couple of little different things I'm going to share with you. So the ingredients, I'll put them up on the screen a bit later, but it's your traditional. And when you start looking at pound cake recipes, if it doesn't call for 3 sticks of butter, it ain't no pound cake. If it doesn't take 6 eggs, it ain't no pound cake, right? And to keep moisture in, this one has sour cream, but my very favorite pound cake recipe has cream cheese in it. So good. That was my grandmother's recipe. I'll be sharing that with you another time. But since peaches are in right now and they're beautifully delicious, it's a peach pound cake day. I don't know if you get these where you are. I get these from Fresh Market. They come in their own little delightful little box, and they are the best peaches. You don't have to wait for them to ripen. You just eat them the minute that you buy them because they are so incredibly delicious. So we're going to use these peaches today to make our peach pound cake. Okay, so here are our ingredients. We've got 3 cups of flour, 3 cups of sugar, there's a little bit of salt and baking soda in the flour, a cup of sour cream, and butter. And I gotta tell you, using really good butter makes all the difference in the world. I also followed everybody's advice, and I've got 6 eggs here, and they did come to room temperature. A couple of things. The recipe that I found online, or I usually see online, just calls for vanilla extract, but this is vanilla bean paste. There's a few makers that do it, and boy, does it make a huge difference. And this time, I didn't do this last year, but I am gonna add just a little bit of peach flavor to the cake along with the peaches. It says super strength, so I'm gonna use it very sparingly. So now I'm gonna start with the sugar, but I'm gonna do a trick with the sugar. So hold on, I'm a big fan of the, British Bake Off show, and all of those recipes over there call for caster sugar. And I've purchased caster sugar before. It's very expensive, but you can do the same thing by actually blending your sugar for about 30 seconds in your blender. So now I'm going to cream my fabulous Irish butter with my sugar that has been sort of pulverized in the blender. Sort of add it a little at a time. It's just great. Doing the sugar this way makes it dissolve much more easily. And you put the exact amount that you need in the blender. I usually add a little more because, as you can see, there's going to be some that stick to the side here. So I add just a tad more just to make sure I'm adding all the sugar that I need. And cream until it's all nicely creamed together. You don't feel, sugar grains when you put your finger in there and test it. Okay, I've already incorporated my 6 eggs, beating them in 1 at a time. Remember, those eggs were at room temperature. Okay, so now's the point where we're going to add our vanilla bean paste. I always add a lot because this is so much better. And this is just where I've got the sugar and the butter in here. I just think it incorporates better at this stage. I'm just going to put a little bit because I'm afraid because it's super strong. Okay, I'm not going to put any more than that because it says super strong. Mix that all in. So now it calls for adding the flour a little bit at a time, and then sort of alternating it with sour cream. sour cream will make this taste good. And keep it moist. But as usual, you gotta also get in here and kind of wipe the sides down to make sure everything's getting mixed properly. Okay. Get flour in your face. Have it going fast. Could be worse, I guess. There you go. That's probably better. Right? And you know, pound cake is really forgiving. So if you have just a little more sour cream or something like that, it can take it. It's a pretty sturdy cake. So now you're going to add the peaches. So just, throw them right in. I just go right in. I'm totally kidding. We're sure going to have to cut up the peaches. Okay, I've turned the oven on to get it to come to temperature. And now I'm going to put my peaches in my fabulous batter. Let's get them all out here. Pretty please. We're going to fold them in. Whoops, I lost one. I'm going to fold them in a little more gently. Make sure it gets in there throughout the whole pound cake. And then just mix, until it's incorporated. Like I said, this pound cakes are tough. They're hard to overdo, so don't worry if it takes you a little bit of doing to get the peaches all throughout the mixture. It's, it's a heavy batter, so hence the pound cake, right? So now I'm just going to prepare my pan. This is the best. There are a few different brands that make it. This was my job as a kid, and I hated it. I hated greasing and flouring anything. But now it's so easy. I just spray it. I'm just going to grease and flour all at the same time without abusing any small children. Okay. And I'm just going to put this batter right on in here. I have my oven turned on so that maybe you hear the fan in the oven. I'm going to use a fan-assisted oven, not a convection oven. Okay. Just get all that goodness right in this pan. This is going to smell so good as it bakes too. Okay. Okay. And there you have it. There you have it. It's all ready for the oven. So I'm just going to get these little drips off the top. And then we are ready to go. All right. It's time to put it in. So kind of on the middle rack. I at 325, but this has a little fan assist, so I'm just going to turn it down just a little tiny bit. Okay, here we are. Here is our beautiful peach pound cake. You can stop right here if you want, or if you want to add a little glaze, then we're going to have some powdered sugar And I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go for it because it tasted so good in that cake. I'm just gonna add a teeny little bit to my powdered sugar. And then I just add the milk, you know, very slowly, because even that little tiny bit, right, it's very watery. So I still have my powdered sugar handy. You don't want it too thick because you do want it to be more of a glaze, so you can drizzle it over the top. If it's too thick, it's not gonna do that. It'll just kind of park on the top. So let's see here. Just stir, try to get the lumps out of the powdered sugar. And then when you think you have sort of a thick consistency, but you can still, you know, drizzle and kind of pour it. That's what you're looking for. So you want it to be thick, not too thick. You definitely don't want it to be too thin either. So here we go. So now I just take it and I'm gonna drizzle it over the cake. This cake is still slightly warm, so it's gonna go right in. Might be better to wait until it's completely warm. And there you go. So there's another step to this pound cake, and that's going to be eating it. So we'll show you that just as soon as it finishes completely cooling. Okay, now here we are for the moment of truth. Okay. Good so far. Good so far. Let's see, nice pieces of peaches in there. It's so good. Even if I did make it myself, it's really good. The peaches with that sour cream keep it beautifully moist. Oh yeah. Here you go with this.